I mean, get the spirit of what he's saying. Read between the lines. Me, you've got to have the wrong guy. God, I'm not good enough. See, there were things in Moses' life that screamed to his conscience every single day. Moses, you're not good enough. You're not good enough. One thing that screamed in his ear were his past failures. When he was living a life of luxury and advantage back in Egypt, on one occasion, he got filled with anger and he committed manslaughter. He murdered a guy in a fit of rage. Pharaoh, his adopted father, found out about it, put a warrant out for his arrest and execution, and Moses had to flee from Egypt, which is how he ended up in the desert in Arabia. In his past failure screamed, "Oh, you're not good enough." You know what else was screaming in his ear? His personal inadequacies. When God says, "Moses, here's what I want you to do," Moses said, "No, God, you got the wrong guy, because you see, I've never been an eloquent speaker. I have trouble stringing the right words together. I cannot get the job done. I'm inadequate." And his inadequacy screamed in his ear every day, "You're not good enough." And then, of course, there were the belittling comments. See, back shortly after he had murdered that man, some people who had actually witnessed it were kind of fighting amongst themselves, and Moses tried to break it up. And those people looked at him and they said, "Who made you a ruler over us? Are you going to kill us like the Egyptian you killed the other day?" What were they saying? They're saying, "We don't know who you think you are, but you are definitely not qualified to lead. You're definitely not qualified to handle our problems, Moses. No way. Because we know what you are. You're just a cold-blooded murderer." And those comments cut to the quick. And those comments had to keep echoing in the mind of Moses, and they screamed out to him, "You're not good enough." And I think, I can only imagine, that while Moses was spending all that time in the Arabian desert, constantly up in his mind as he was living this meager, pathetic existence, were the thoughts, "I'm here because I'm not good enough." You know what I'm wondering? I'm wondering if things in your life are screaming the same things in your ear. And that's not something that you hear inside on a regular basis. You're not good enough. Here's what I want us to all understand this morning. That statement, "You're not good enough," is a lie. Hear me? It's a lie. It's a lie that we tell ourselves. It's a lie that robs us of our identity as an image bearer of God, who is to walk through the world in confidence, impacting others and shaping the future. It robs us of our identity as a child of God who is meant to live this life with joy and in loving relationships with others. It is a lie that kills off the people we were meant to be and lives or leaves something unwanted and unremarkable in its place. It's a lie. And I want to try to use the Word of God to unmask it this morning. And I want us to begin by thinking below the surface, by thinking deeply about this concept. And let's start by asking ourselves this simple question: what core deficiencies might we have that are really the source of all "I'm not good enough" thoughts? What core deficiencies might we have that are the source of "I'm not good enough" thoughts? As I kind of pondered this, here's what occurred to me. Could be that we think we have moral deficiency. See, morally, I'm just not good enough. I've committed so many blunders, so many mistakes, so many sins that I feel cut off from God. I feel so weak morally that I could never say, I'm an example to anybody. I'm a role model to anybody. There's a core deficiency. Perhaps we might feel we're not morally good enough. Another core deficiency might be intellectual. Man, I'm just not smart enough. I can't figure out the right things to do or the right things to say. I'm not real good at making decisions, and I'm just not smart enough. I have an intellectual deficiency. Others might say, well, you know, I'm deficient relationally. I'm not good enough relationally. I just really don't know how to connect. I don't really know how to bond. I don't know the kind of things that I ought to say. I don't know the kind of things I ought to do. And I don't know how to handle problems. And so relationally, I'm just like, I'm at a deficit. I'm not good enough relationally. Others might say, well, I have a core deficiency in my spirituality. Spiritually, I'm not good enough. You know, I just can't for the life of me seem to really track with God. I can do it for like 5 or 10 minutes and then it's like gone. And I so lose touch with the things that really matter most. And I get caught up in stuff that I know is not the good, it's not the best, but spiritually, I'm deficient. Spiritually, I'm not good enough. And then others might say, well, you know, for me, I have a talent deficiency. You know, I'm not good enough talent-wise. There's nothing I'm really good at. I have no outstanding skill. I have no outstanding ability. I have nothing within me that makes me remarkable. I have a talent deficiency. And I don't know, it just appeared to me that as I pondered this issue through, I thought, you know what, if we were only moral enough, and smart enough, and relational enough, and spiritual enough, and talented enough, then we could be a good enough parent, spouse, worker, Christian, student, provider, whatever. But these core deficiencies, these areas where we're not good enough, keeps us from being what we want and need to be in life. And I'm just wondering, as we kind of look those over, is the one that sort of stands out to you like, oh, that for me? Because I'm looking at that and going, yeah, I can tell you exactly which one for me it is. Actually, to be honest with you, I look at that and it's more than one. How many will look at that and say, of those 5 things up there, at least one I feel deficient in? Can we be honest enough? Just raise your hand and say, I do. At least one. I wouldn't be surprised if some of us said, man, there are times in my life all 5 fit me. And these core deficiencies where we're not good enough here, they're like our Achilles heel. It kills us our efforts to really live the life we want.